Hi. Hello, everybody. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up if you're watching or listening and going to engage in the comments. We are here at the first quarterfinal day of the 2023 Australian Open, and we're kicking things off on Rod Laver Arena with Elena Rybakina and Jeļena Ostapenko. These two will be going head to head, and I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think there'll be too many long rallies, as cliche as that sounds. They're both two women who like to play the aggressor on the court as much as they can and as often as they can. It's an interesting matchup for a couple of reasons because, one, they're two Grand Slam champions on the tour. Jeļena Ostapenko is a former Roland Garros champion back in 2017. And, of course, Elena Rybakina is the reigning champion at Wimbledon in 2022. So this is a really interesting quarterfinal matchup. The players are warming up on court right now, just getting a feel for one another. I wish I had their head-to-head stats right next to me. I'm going to look down and grab their head-to-head stats. I think it might be interesting. If it's not interesting, then we'll go with it anyway. Okay. The head-to-head is 2-0 Ostapenko. Interesting. Let's look at the last time they actually met. That's showing on my screen right now, actually. Ostapenko leads the series 2-0, and the last time they met was the Eastbourne semifinal back in 2021. So that's interesting. And we're looking at some pre-match predictions here before the match. Elena Rybakina has a astounding 62% chance of winning the match compared to 38% for Jeļena Ostapenko. Looks like the weather conditions for the match are going to be kind, even if they aren't. Rod Laver Arena is famous for having a roof, so play will continue. We can bet that. The players are taking their last couple of strokes. And if you are excited for this match and you can sense in the air that it's going to be an electric one, why don't you put some fire emojis in the comment section and get us all prepared and excited for what could be a very hard-hitting and electric WTA match for sure. I'm looking forward to it. Were you surprised Rybakina beat Swiatek? Yes and no. I think that's a really good question. I think that was a statement win for Rybakina in some ways, to remind everybody that, hey, I am a reigning champion of one of the most prestigious titles in tennis right now. And two, I can beat anybody when I'm on. And I felt like those two things spoke loudly in that victory over Swiatek. And another thing that I realized from the Swiatek side is that I think she's a very diverse player, but I also think in certain situations, especially when the racket and the pace of the rallies isn't going in the way that she would like it to, she can kind of get a little frazzled out there and not really know how to work herself out of the situation. And I think that's what happened in the match against Rybakina. But a lot of that is because of the way Rybakina played. I feel like she's one of those players, and I've used this before, a silent assassin. She has a way of not, at least from how it looks on television. I haven't seen her play live, unfortunately, but she has a way of lulling you to sleep, even with some really powerful ground strokes. I think it's because there's not much going on that side of the net. Like, she's not a player that you can per se hear her shoes squeaking. She's not a player that grunts very loudly. She just is very methodical and goes about her business. And every once in a while, she'll give you a thumbs up. But in between all of that and during the point, she is just completely smacking cross court winners and hitting bombs out of the air from her serve. So it'll be an interesting matchup because I think Ostapenko has the right amount of firepower to hang with her. And we'll see. The match is actually about to get started. First serve opening game for Ostapenko right now. She gets her first serve in, pretty healthy. Rybakina hits a forehand down the middle and error Ostapenko. I think the error count, obviously, almost too easy to be said in this matchup. The error count compared to winner count is going to be crucial for both of these women going forward in the match. 15 love for Ostapenko. She gets another first serve in, pretty standard forehand error then by Rybakina. So it looks like, they're feeling each other out. It hasn't been it's been almost 2 years since they last played. So maybe, I don't get the feeling that they practice with each other too often. So I feel like there will be a phase of kind of getting used to the tempo and adjustment of each other's style of play again. Ostapenko just misses a serve down the tee wide to the right. She puts in her second serve. Rybakina with a powerful shot down the middle as a return backhand winner, and just along with the accompanying backhand cross court, 30-15 for Ostapenko. Rumor has it rain rolling through Melbourne. Which one of these players is most likely to pay well with despite weather delays? That's a really good question because I can see both of them in my mind. When a roof is closed, a lot of the things that become certain intangibles that may favor one player and not the other, those things become equal. And I think some things like your ball toss and the rhythm you have with your serve are no longer affected by sun or rain or clouds or wind or anything of like that nature. And both of these players have done well indoors, I believe. I think Ostapenko has indoor titles, and Rybakina isn't really a slouch on that surface either. So it'd be interesting to see. I think play may speed up, which benefits both of them. So that would be definitely an interesting layer if the roof does close. For sure. Good question, Ghost of Garolitis. Some people say otherwise, though. Some people have said that a closed roof benefits the player that can track more balls down. And I don't know how I feel about that. Going with Rybakina, although Pinko Chaos is so tempting. Yes. Ostapenko Chaos is fun to watch. I think if she goes ahead and wins this matchup, I think she officially makes her announcement to everybody that she's a threat. She's a threat to win majors or big titles this season. She's always been a threat for the past couple of seasons post that breakthrough French Open run, but it's not been as serious of a threat. But if she makes a good run here, especially this being her first time this deep at a hard court major, I feel like that'll give her a certain level of confidence. Not that Ostapenko ever seems to be lacking in self-confidence. Second serve for Ostapenko at deuce. And Rybakina spanks a backhand cross-court return winner. So we have our first break point of the match on Ostapenko's serve. That was a great backhand from Rybakina. And there's nothing really her ground strokes are so smooth, just very almost like a metronome. Like you can recreate the process over and over again. Let's see how Ostapenko handles this break point. She gets her first serve in, and then she just has a very uncharacteristic, but not so uncharacteristic forehand error, and she's broken. First game to Elena Rybakina. Some good returning there by Rybakina. I think both of them are going to have to deal with each other's return, so that'll be interesting. Let's see. Does this head-to-head matter, or is it a new Rybakina? I would imagine so. To me, Rybakina seems to be walking around with a different level of confidence. I only vaguely remember the run she went on back in the beginning of 2020, right before the pandemic. I believe she made the finals of Dubai, and she may have made a final or two of another different tournament. But she was playing well, and kind of eyes were beginning to really take her seriously. And then, of course, all the momentum halted. So I think from that point on and to where she is now, definitely she's a different player. I think so. So once you get a Wimbledon title under your belt, I think you become more confident in yourself. At least I would hope so. Rybakina to start off her service game. She's already up a break. She's looking to consolidate early and jump out on the lead against Ostapenko. She puts a really good serve down the tee that Ostapenko can't get back. 15 love, Rybakina. Was that an ace for Rybakina? Either that was just wide or a let, one of the two. Her serve out wide is really, really good. Sneaky good. Yep. As I thought, Ostapenko is going to be taking her chances on every second serve she sees. She takes a big swipe on a double-handed backhand and hits a really good angle, and Rybakina can't get to it. This is going to be a very first strike tennis type of match, I believe. If Ostapenko gets any more confidence, the EU is going to tax it as a volatile fuel. I mean, I guess that's what you need in a sport like tennis. I mean, even if you have to fake it a little bit, you can't go out there already thinking that you've lost or that your opponent is better than you. And I feel like, Ostapenko takes that to heart. She doesn't want to go on any court where she thinks her opponent can actually beat her or she's less than her opponent. So hey, I can't blame her in that regard. Rybakina at 30-15 hits an ace out wide, giving her 2 game points to consolidate an early break. I think Ostapenko is eventually going to get a good read on Rybakina serve, if I had to guess, over time in the match, but that's also dependent on just how well Rybakina serves. You know, she has an advantage by how tall she is, and her motion and serve toss are very consistent. So she closes out that game with a pretty loose error, another loose error from Ostapenko. So now we're looking at 2-love Rybakina. They're doing a slow-mo right now, if anybody can see on their own television that's watching, of Rybakina's serve. And it's a little bit of a more abbreviated motion, but it still has a classic feel to it. And I feel like she uses all the limbs that she has in her body. It's a really good serve, a really, really good serve. Let's see if Ostapenko can stop some of the early momentum that Rybakina has. She does a nice out wide serve and a 1-2 punch that Rybakina can't get to. 15-love Ostapenko. By the way, if you're watching, can you give me a yay or nay on the outfit of Ostapenko? I know that's been a heavily criticized and talked about topic, Ostapenko's outfits and kits these days, but in a weird way, they're starting to grow on me because they're so individual. And something about somebody leaning into something and not really caring what everybody else says is a little endearing to me. Even though I don't really love what she's wearing, I appreciate the confidence behind it. Great point from Ostapenko. She puts in a good serve and dinks a backhand drop shot just over the net that Rybakina can't get to. She's up 40-love in this game. Is there an area in between May and Yay? Somewhere in the middle, the gray area. Ostapenko holds at love, so that's a good way to kind of, stop some of the early momentum from Rybakina. Only a minute and 10 seconds game, so she got her serves in, she did what she had to do, and now she sits down for an early change of ends. How you guys doing, by the way? I don't think I've ever asked you guys that are listening, how has your Monday been, if it's not already Tuesday where you are? West Coast is the best coast. I envy the West Coast a couple different times a year for different reasons. And one of the reasons early in the year is because of their adjustment to the Australian Open time zone. It works perfectly for them. I think coverage starts at like 4:30 on the West Coast live. And I mean, by 4:30, you're itching to go back home and kind of kick your feet up and have a good day of watching tennis, So yay for outfit of Ostapenko for trying something different. Yes, totally agree, Miles. Matches Alona's. I forgot that's how you spell her first name, actually. Matches Alona's intense game. Yeah. I feel like the brand that's working with her knew that she was going to rock whatever they gave her, I believe. Maybe she had some input, I'm not sure, but she wears it with confidence and doesn't really care that her contract with Adidas ended. So as long as if she likes it, I love it, I guess. It's one of those situations. All right, Rybakina is still up with the early break. Ostapenko seems to be holding up play for some reason. She's, I think there's a I think there's a fan trying to get adjusted in the seats. And Ostapenko doesn't want to be thrown off by their movement. Ostapenko is a particular player. I'll say that much. Second serve incoming for Rybakina. Ostapenko is not afraid to take a really good swipe, as we all know. I want to see what she does with this one. She takes a good one, but it's too long. Backhand unforced error. And she looks at herself and she's almost disgusted. But if there's anybody that is gifable on the WTA tour, Ostapenko has to be top 5. Like the movement she makes with her faces and in the moments that she does them is pretty priceless. Wow. Rybakina slams down another ace down the tee, and I don't even think Ostapenko knew where that one was going. I gotta see if they showed how fast it was. 178 kilometers per hour. Wow. There's a special function to convert that to miles per hour, but I don't know it. Monday, not bad. Good job. All right, we're getting a first real rally here. Backhands going cross court. Rybakina decides to go up the line to create an opportunity, and she runs around her backhand, puts away a pretty easy forehand, and now she's up 40 love. Ostapenko looks as if she does not believe one of the deep backhands Rybakina hit was actually in. And if you guys remember from her last match against Coco Gauff on the on-court interview right after the win or after the match ends, there's usually an interview, and the interviewer asked her kind of pretty much point blank, does she believe in the live Hawkeye calling? And she said, to be honest, no. And she's doing it again. She's doing it again. Rybakina gets hit another ace out wide, and Ostapenko cannot believe that the system did not call that out. Yeah, she's pretty irritated with it. I guess she's sticking behind her decision that she doesn't believe in the Hawkeye system. So again, that keeps in tracking with Ostapenko being not afraid to do what she wants to do in her own time and stick with her guns. So again, appreciate that in her. All right, let's see what she can do this go around. Rybakina's leading 3-1 early in this first set. Another decent rally. Ostapenko cross court with a backhand. Rybakina hits at the top of the tape. 15 love for Ostapenko. Got it. Oh, we're rooting for Vika in the next quarter. I believe that quarter is that's the opening of the night session on Rod Laver. Vika all day. A Pegula win is bad for everybody. Ghost of Gerolitis, I would love to hear why you think a Pegula win is bad for everybody. I'd love to hear that. $30 love for Ostapenko. She gets another pretty good first serve in. Tries to hit a drop shot right after that, but just goes wide. It looks like she's trying to make Rybakina move, which isn't necessarily a bad tactic, but I don't know if that's a tactic Ostapenko is as comfortable with as she is with just taking her rips and being the aggressor on court. Maybe she's trying to implement a game plan that her coach told her about, maybe. Wow, Rybakina just hit a backhand screamer down the line, return winner. 30 all on Ostapenko's serve, a small opening. They're showing the backhand winner graphic right now on ESPN Plus, and it's 2 all for Ostapenko. But Rybakina's backhand winners have been better timed. So here she is with a mini chance to break Ostapenko's serve for the second time. And she gets back a very awkward serve and puts it in a place where Ostapenko can't control it, and a break point for Rybakina to go up a double break. Yeah, that's fair. That's super fair. Let's see how Ostapenko can maybe fight this break point off. And what happened? Oh, I think there's a rain delay. The players just walked to their chairs. Oh, yeah, now they're showing a really good picture of it. There's a rain delay. The match will be suspended due to the rain, and then they will be drying the court and also closing the roof shortly. So that's an interesting point for the match to just stop. I mean, that would have – it's 30-40 on Ostapenko serve, break point Rybakina, and then there is an abrupt stoppage of play. And the next point that they play is going to be pretty, I think, monumental. Because, I mean, if Ostapenko goes down a double break here, that doesn't look too great for her chances in the set, especially the way Rybakina is serving. Yeah, it's coming down pretty heavy. So even Rybakina is smiling and laughing about it. Which is good to see. Maybe she's not taking herself so seriously these days. They're showing a nice lady with a matching leopard print umbrella to match her top. That was so cute. Ghost of Garolitis. I mean, my vehement anti-Pagula position is broad and multifaceted, but here's one key point. It undermines the idea of a systemic approach to developing talent. I have to think on that one. The players are both headed off court now. I think I'm pretty sure they'll be able to contact or, talk with their coaches if they desire to, because the rain is coming down pretty hard and it's going to take a little while for the roof to close. Okay, whoever called that it was going to be stormy in Melbourne, you were spot on. Spot on. At least we know the Rod Laver Arena has a roof, so all will be back up and running, and I would imagine 20 minutes or so. So don't stray away too far. Are there any men's matches that you guys are looking forward to in the quarterfinal section of the draw today? I believe it is Karen Hachinoff versus Sebastian Korda. I think that one's interesting because it poses an opportunity for both of them. I mean, at this point in the draw, it's an opportunity for everybody to kind of, write their names into more history, whether they've done it before or not. And then the second quarterfinal is going to be Tsitsipas versus Lehechka of the Czech Republic, who's having a breakthrough couple of months. I know Lehechka made the finals of the Nitto ATP Next Gen Finals in Milan, and I was impressed with him there, but didn't really have a feeling of where he might take that momentum. And that was only my first or second time watching him play, but now watching him play at the Australian Open, I'm really impressed with his serve. I'm really impressed with just the weight of his shot off the ground strokes. And I mean, he's beaten Cam Norrie and Felix Auger-Aliassime. Those are probably two of the biggest wins of his career thus far, and he looks confident. I mean, Tsitsipas has looked good in the tournament. He definitely wobbled quite a bit against Yannick Sinner in their fourth round match, but his level to close out the match in the fifth set was good from what I saw. So we'll see. I mean, part of me, if you guys remember this, when I first started watching tennis back in 2006, right? The Australian Open for me, right before Novak Djokovic really started to dominate it, and it kind of switched hands a lot between Federer and Novak in the late 2000s, early 2010s. There was a time period where there were kind of just dream miracle runs from players to get to the final and or win it. I think back in 2002, going back a little bit further, I believe Thomas Johansson won that final in 2004. Roger Federer won that one, but it was a pretty influential run to the final by Murat Safin, who I believe was unseeded at that tournament. He turns around and wins it again in 2005. 2006 saw the run of Marcos Bagdatis on the ATP Tour. 2007 saw Fernando Gonzalez. 2008 saw the only time we were able to see Joe-Wilfried Tsonga in a Grand Slam final. So there was a period there where like the underdogs were definitely doing damage at Australia. They maybe weren't leading with the title, but they were definitely making their names known. And I feel like we're getting closer to that window. Because I liked it. That actually was part of the reason why I loved watching the Australian Open, because yes, you knew that there was going to be a Roger Federer or Rafa Nadal or Novak Djokovic kind of lurking in the draw. But for some reason, the energy surrounding that tournament, with it being the Happy Slam, with it being the slam that has probably, in a way, you can choose to take the most time off, because there's 3 to 4 weeks, I believe, after the last match of the season, and that only really affects the top 8 to 10 players because they're playing in the year-end championships. So if you really want to and you can afford to, you can take a break from all of December and a lot of November, and that does a lot for a tennis player, I believe, when they're traveling how many times out of the month every month in the year. So I feel like all of that combined gives players that you might not think have a chance. They kind of just go out there and give it their best shot, and then we see what happens. I mean, even to this point, Yuri Lehechka and Sebastian Korda were definitely not on my bingo list of players that were going to be in the Australian Open quarters. Karen Khachanov, yeah, that could have been an argument, but uh, he just got to the semis at the U.S. Open, so maybe he is invigorated by that a little bit. Wow, the court they're showing it here on ESPN Plus on Rod Laver got soaked really, really quickly. So that rain delay is continuing, and it looks like they're out there squeegeeing the court. I believe I heard this on Talking Tennis, but I think someone noted that how much technology that is involved in tennis and the statistics and the analytics that goes with it. But here we are in 2023, still physically using towels and squeegees to clean up a court. Pretty interesting how tennis is like 1 foot in the future and definitely 1 foot in the Stone Age. That's always funny. Marat Safin, actually, going to tie that back to Karen Khachanov, Marat Safin actually practices with Karen Khachanov sometimes. I believe Marat was a big influence for Karen. You can kind of see the similarities in their game, especially the backhand side to me. Let's see. There's a comment. Okay, there we go. Ghosty. Sangha in Melbourne. Yeah, I was at MCG then. Couldn't afford the second week, but it was still fun. Yeah, I would have loved to be there. Had I known that would have been a couple of different things. Had I known that was going to be Joe Wilfried Tsonga's only Grand Slam final, because at the time it just did not feel like it, I would have taken it a little bit more seriously. I think I may have that match on VHS somewhere at my mom's house. But I think the full match is on YouTube nowadays, so I can go back and like relive the nostalgia. And I don't believe a man of color has made a Grand Slam final since then either. So that was a very culminating moment in time. And 2008 was the first time that Rod Laver and the rest of Melbourne Park displayed the blue courts, which I absolutely love. The blue courts make viewing the game and the rallies and everything else associated with the sport really, really easy. And it just looks cool. I know it's hot out there, but something about blue is cool, and it looks less draining. When it was on that rebound ace and like the lighter green color, everybody looked miserable. Even though green is somewhat of a happy color too, but it's not necessarily as cool as blue. Everybody just looks super miserable. Ghosty, great question. Would you go so far as to say Tsonga had a disappointing career? It depends on how harsh I'm feeling that day. I'll say that if I'm feeling like giving a pass and grace to the players of his era who were literally and directly affected by the formation of the Big Three, and as soon as he might have even been in a better prime than that 2008 final, he didn't really have a chance, because that meant he had to go through 3 all-time greats, and that's just a difficult task. So, I mean, if we take away those 3, and I think we can say that for almost 20 different men that were around that elite level during the time of the heavy domination of the Big Three, take them away, we don't know how many Grand Slams they could have had. But I mean, I believe Tsonga was a top 5 player, 1 Grand Slam final. I believe he got a singles medal in doubles at one of the Olympics, 2 Masters 1000 titles, multiple stints in the top 10. Very memorable career. A lot of people, I never got a chance to actually watch him play, but a lot of people say they have good memories of his matches. He's one of those people that you kind of just pencil in or circle when you see the order of play for the day, just to make sure you can go watch the Ostapenko match. So I kind of miss him now that I'm talking about him. Let's see. Ghosty, great questions. Really good questions. I like Paris per se, that muted green court and smudged coal surround. Yeah, that was a nice court. I think it's still like that. It maybe look a little different, but I think the court is still green. Oh yeah, you said I like Paris per se, not I liked it. So yeah, it's just to look like that. We're still squeegeeing, guys. If you're still with me, they're still drying the court. It got really soaked really quickly because of how quickly the rain came down. So they're doing their best to get play back up and running. They're even cleaning the cameras, as I can see it, around the court, giving them a good wipe down to make sure they're not too foggy. I would guesstimate that we still have at least about 10 more minutes before players can get back on court. So if there's any questions that you guys have for me about any range of topics, let me know. Good question, right on time. How come women don't do tweeners? Um, Great question. That's a great question. You would think it would be the opposite, right? For obvious reasons. Um, I know Anj Jabor has tried it. I don't remember her being successful with it. I think Anj Jabor has tried it. I don't remember a time ever that Serena tried that. Trying to think of another player who. Oh, Mary Pierce had a really iconic moment where she kind of did one at the 2000 French Open. I remember that. I don't know. That's a good. That I've never thought about it. I never thought about it. I feel like Coco should definitely be in the category of athletic enough to try a tweener. I feel like Garcia is a little too, although she's super athletic. I feel like she's a little bit too stiff to try that. I don't know. Good question. Who did you have winning the tournament on both women's and men's side before the AO started? I'll answer that question and go with my own really, really bad picks because there's only one finalist that I have remaining in the draw, and I'll start with the women's side. On the women's side, I picked Madison Keys and Arena Sabalenka to get to the final. If you're looking at me like Miles, why would you ever pick both of those, but let alone Madison Keys to get to a final? There was just something in the United Cup mojo that I thought would carry over, and it did to a certain degree, but not enough to consistently beat Vika, who Azarenka is a thorn in Madison Keys' side because she basically dilutes all of her power. And when Azarenka redirects it, Madison Keys is not quick of foot enough to kind of going back and get the next ball. So the rallies never really formulate well for Madison Keys. And then Sabalenka's still in the draw. I'm holding my breath because this is a really good opportunity for her, especially since Magdalene took out Caroline Garcia. So that means Sabalenka gets Donna Vekic tomorrow. And if she wins that, she gets the winner of Pliskova and Linette to make a final. I mean, she's played Pliskova before in a semifinal, and that didn't work out well for her. It was a tight 3-setter, but I don't know. Part of me wants to say this out loud, and I guess I should, but the other part of me wants to just knock on wood. This is Sabalenka's opportunity. I feel like this is her Grand Slam to win. Even with a higher seed on the top half, Pagula, number 3 seed. If Pagula ends up getting to the final and say she meets Sabalenka, I think that'll be a really, really good matchup. It'll be both of their first times in a Grand Slam, and then they really are going to want that title for different reasons, I think. So I think for me, with the remaining players in the draw, I think that is the ultimate final that I can ask for on the women's side. I think. On the men's side, now this is even really silly. Had I picked another American to do something good, I would be in a better position. But I picked Taylor Fritz to win this Australian Open. And yes, I'll give you a time to laugh at me about that, okay? Yes, continue laughing. I just went big on him, partly in reason for the same reasons why I went big on Madison Keys. Something about that United Cup energy felt like it was going to propel them. And I feel like they wanted it to, with the whole locked in on all of the cameras as they got the pin after the match wins. They all wrote locked in on it, which I thought was cool. But Taylor Fritz has an issue at Grand Slams. Taylor Fritz definitely has an issue. For a player that's shown the kind of promise he has, for him to only have one Grand Slam title at this part of his career is underwhelming. I do think that there's obviously time for him to kind of rectify his experiences at Grand Slams, but he needs to kind of start doing that. A loss to Popper isn't great, especially with the kind of momentum he had going into the Grand Slam. That's not going to be looked back on as a great win. His opponent was playing well, but he just didn't really he didn't have it. And I think he came up kind of gingerly on one of his returns, and he kind of needed a medical timeout or something like that. So there were things going on in his match, but overall there were also opportunities for him to win that, and he didn't take it. So kind of frustrated with Taylor Fritz in that regard. And I also had Yannick Sinner in my final, which looked good up until he got 2-0 down against Martin Fucsovics, and I had no idea what was going on. He got out of that match because Fucsovics, I think, just hit a wall, and he almost made a match out of the Tsitsipas match, but I don't think he had it in him to go down from 2-0 down from 2-0 twice back-to-back matches. So those are my picks for the final. Only Sabalenka remains, so let's see what she got. Rybakina it looks like they are about to grab their things and head to the court. Yeah, it looks like Rybakina is walking to her racket bag. Is that Angelique? Oh, that's Magdalene. That's who that is. There was somebody in the corner of my ESPN Plus stream and I couldn't make it out. Let's see. Just look at your comments really quickly. Plus, Sabalenka has a beautiful narrative of fixing her serve and cutting down on her double faults. Yes, that's the kind of story arc. Thank you, National Catch. That's the kind of story arcs I want to see in tennis. Like, imagine we get she's already done the work by winning that Adelaide title, and that's where the serving woes begin. So in 2022, she has a terrible serving performance in Adelaide. 2023 comes back and wins that tournament. Extra cherry on top is if she wins the Australian Open as her first Grand Slam after all the things she's been through in semifinals and the serve issues. I would love to see it. I probably jinxed her so hard just now. Sorry, Sabalenka. Sorry, Big Sab. I do apologize. See, okay. I'm going to have to refresh my ESPN Plus feed. I know there's been quite a few people, and we can just hit on a tangent for a second. And I talked about this in my latest podcast that actually went live today. My podcast is called Tuned Into Tennis with Miles David. And I had a guest on the podcast today. And one of the opening things we talked about was the broadcasting issues that ESPN was having, and along with Tennis Channel, and just tennis in general has a lot of different hands in the pot of broadcasting. And we talked about that. And just now, here I am with access to ESPN Plus, which is great. In the middle of a stream, it's telling me we can't show that anymore. It's like I'm paying you extra for exclusive service, and you just tell me that you can't show it in the middle of the stream. What if that was breakpoint? So whatever. What can you do? Well, I think there actually is something we can do, and I also said this in the podcast. Everybody knows, well, tennis fans know, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, guys and girls. There's a thing called tennis TV, right? Tennis TV has been around for a while. They have gotten the attention of, I think, millennials through their social media presence. They have a really good one on Instagram, TikTok, I believe. I don't really go on TikTok too often, but I know on Instagram and Twitter, they get really good engagement. Why are we not leaning into something that, one, makes sense? It's called Tennis TV. You're not going to have to really search for anything. It makes sense. Tennis TV, boom, you know what you're going to be watching. Why do we not invest in giving them access to all of the tournaments? Like, ESPN doesn't seem like they are really putting tennis high on its ranks. And I get from a business side why they might think that that's a good way to go. But they have a legion of fans. And ESPN is so closely fixated to just the conversation of sports in North America that them taking the broadcasting to a really low point in tennis is definitely not helping grow the sport or give people access to watch the sport, to get to know new names, so we can kind of take this pivotal point, I believe, that we're in tennis, with the changing of the guards that is officially happening now. I think it's a loss that broadcasting is also an issue at the same time as that, because there's storylines, there's new faces that are coming almost every week at this point, and people need to know about it in order to really invest in why they should be watching the sport in 2023 and beyond. So they have to get that correct. They really do. Like, there's a whole idea in my head that allows tennis TV to merge with the WTA. And maybe if you want to have the plus option, Tennis TV Plus, that gives you access to the Davis Cup and Billie Jean King Cup or whatever. You can still hide some things behind paywalls. But we're moving towards a streaming focused world. So Tennis TV needs to kind of get in the ring a little bit, because they have access to everything else. The only thing they're missing is the Grand Slams and WTA action. A lot of people don't even subscribe to Tennis TV because it's strictly ATP. And I think ATP has been more marketable over the last 20 years because of what we've seen out of Nadal, Djokovic, and Federer, but that's not going to necessarily be the case. We don't know what the case is going to be in the next 10 years moving forward. So hopefully, like I said, Tennis TV can get in there and make some sense of this, because the Tennis Channel tug of war between ESPN and Tennis Channel and ESPN Plus and Tennis Channel Plus, it's just super draining from a tennis fan's perspective. I shouldn't have to give you guys 4 streams of my income to watch tennis, because essentially that's what I'm doing. I have to have access to ESPN, access to Tennis Channel. Then in order to watch matches like I want to, I have to have access to ESPN Plus and Tennis Channel Plus to watch all 4 Grand Slams and the other big tournaments throughout the year. So that's my tangent. Thanks for listening. The women are still not quite on court yet. We're doing the 2 talking head moments between Chris McKendry and Brad Gilbert right now on my coverage on ESPN Plus. So not really sure what they're talking about. So if you guys, again, have any more questions, please let me know. Oh, there's one right here pinned. I got to be paying more attention. Thoughts on Steph Lehechka today and Novak Rublev tomorrow? I think that is a massive opportunity for Tsitsipas he could potentially get to another Grand Slam final without facing a single person in the top 10. I mean, what else could you ask for as somebody that's been a top 10 stalwart for the past couple of seasons in Tsitsipas, So he needs to win that. Quite frankly, I wouldn't be upset if Lehechka wins that, because obviously that's a really big stepping into the sun moment and like really getting the recognition, and that adds one more name to the pot of potential men who could be the next to win a Grand Slam if he doesn't win this one. But yeah, I would imagine Tsitsipas is going to liken his chances in that. Just a quick update: the women are walking back to Rod Laver. They're inside the corridor with all of the not defending champions, the past champions in different years. And it's been 25 minutes played since the last point. Keep in mind, and I'll probably repeat this again, they're going to be walking into a break point situation for Rybakina as soon as they warm up again and get back into the match. Rybakina created a break point for herself, and Ostapenko's already down a break 3-1 in this match, so it'll be interesting to see what happens right out of the gate from the very first point. Oh, thoughts on Novak Rublev? I mean, it's hard not to put Novak Djokovic's name on the trophy. It's hard to just not do it already. And I think he feels as much, because I think he said some things in his post-match on-court interview about, not wanting to celebrate too early. That's the best he's felt all tournament, things of that nature. And that just does not bode well for the rest of the field, especially with a guy that's won on that court 9 times going for his 10th, So part of me, because I like history and I just simply like even numbers, and 10 is my favorite number, I wouldn't be upset this particular time if Novak Djokovic wins. There's a story arc in that as well. Well, 1 year they completely told me I couldn't be in this country because of visa cancellation based on my thoughts about the vaccine and not wanting to get it. And then a year later, I come back and win my 10th title. I just gave somebody an idea for their article if they're listening. So there's a story arc in there. I think with this tournament having three, I guess this is a very U.S. centric thought process, but with the U.S. men having three men in the quarterfinals for the first time since 2005, which is almost 20 years ago. That's huge. And I think that officially signals that there is a real changing of the guard. I mean, people say that all the time, but it feels like it is, especially when you officially have one stalwart of the big three officially retired. You have one in Rafa who you likely won't see until the clay court season again. And who knows, obviously he's phenomenal on clay, but who knows how his body is going to hold up and what his priorities are going to look like in that next 8 to 12 weeks or something like that, So, and then Djokovic really is the only person that you literally have to contend with at this tournament. And then he may not even be able, and I think they've made the call already. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he may not be able to compete in Miami and Indian Wells. So those are big tournaments with a lot of points. A lot of confidence can come from winning those. So we'll see what happens. And we'll see what happens with the rest of this tournament. But for now, it looks like Djokovic is the winner. But again, I'd like to see somebody shake things up. I'd like to see it. Sorry, just looking at my phone there pretty quickly. Ghost of Garolitis. Oh, I didn't see this. Let's see. Let's go up a little bit. That's fair. Okay. Here we are, back with the first point. Ostapenko is coming in with a first serve. She spins in. And, oh, wow, that's a backhand that clips the line, and she fights off that break point straight out of the bat. Kind of felt that might happen just because, she does have the advantage of serving first. So we're back at deuce. Still only 16 minutes officially into this match, so a lot of things could happen. Another second serve for Ostapenko. Rybakina smacks a backhand winner return. Excuse me, not a winner. Sorry. They're in a backhand-to-backhand rally right now. And Ostapenko just goes wide with the fourth shot. Another break point for Rybakina. Break point number 2 in this game. She's just so steady. Well, maybe I wouldn't describe her as steady. She's emotionally steady. It looks like she has a mission on the court, and she's going to do her best to accomplish it, and anything else doesn't matter. So there's a break for Rybakina. She gets a serve in and then goes wild with the backhand. So not too much resistance put up for Ostapenko. We're up 4-1. Rybakina serving when we get back to match play. They're showing Rybakina's match against Swiatek last round on ESPN, and she's doing the same thing. She's hitting with easy power and smacking her serve. And from the looks of her opponents, I mean, Swiatek looked completely flabbergasted as to where her serve was going, and already in this match, Ostapenko has kind of just guessed wrong a couple times. So I think she has really good disguise on her serve, and that's definitely helping her. So we will see. I think, let's see, Rybakina first serve placements, first 4 rounds. She has 49% first serves unreturned. And she's doing some pretty good placement variation on her serve. 51% down the tee, 51 and 55 on either side, and then that leaves 30, 39, 38, I believe, on out wide serve. So she's mixing it up pretty consistently and decently. So, I mean, she looks like the favorite in this match so far. But again, We know the WTA tour that we're fans of, and we know the sport that we're fans of. So anything could change. Anything could change. 4-1 Rybakina. Ostapenko crunches a backhand cross-court winner that nearly nicks the line. I think she'd be happy that the Hawkeye Live called that one in. Oh yeah, that was clearly in. So she would have her rights if they called that out. That was a great backhand from Ostapenko. Love 15 on Rybakina serve, second serve. Let's see what Ostapenko can do with this second serve. She crunches a backhand cross court and gets a loose error from Rybakina. Love 30. Ostapenko's trying to break back immediately. I think she senses it's now or never in this particular set. So let's see how she fights. She actually looks more focused than she was in the first part of this first set prior to the rain delay. Something about her face just looks more settled. Rybakina puts the first serve down, and Ostapenko can't quite control it. 15-30, Rybakina. If you guys are still there and still listening, make sure to put either Rybakina or Ostapenko. I'd love to know who you guys think is going to win this match. Do you think Rybakina is going to win it in straights? Do you think she's going to win in 3 sets? Do you think Ostapenko mounts a comeback in this set and grabs it? I'd love to know. Okay, some break points for Ostapenko. Ostapenko hits another good return right at Rybakina's feet, and she can't handle it. So we got 2 break points for Ostapenko to break right back. I had a feeling that returns were going to be pretty important in this matchup. Wow, Rybakina with a really, really good serve. Ostapenko seriously does not believe in the Hawkeye line system. That serve was clearly in, and it got an easy point for Rybakina, but Ostapenko doesn't believe it. Another good serve by wide for Rybakina. She's getting a short reply. She's trying to put away with the smash, and she does. Back to deuce for Rybakina. A little bit of a fist pump there to her box, too, after that one, so that's good to see. Yeah, she's serving very well and definitely in clutch predicaments because she just whited away 2 break points and didn't really have to hit a ground stroke in any of them. So I think that's what a serve is for, right? If I had to serve like that, I'd utilize it every time I could. She misses her first serve on this deuce game wide up the tee. Let's see what she can come up with on the second serve. Let's see what Ostapenko can do, maybe. She kicks it to Ostapenko's backhand. She takes a good cut down the line. Did she miss that forehand? Ostapenko, of course, doesn't believe it. She's literally asking her box every point. She's doing like when the refs go like that, or I forgot how they do their hands, but she's doing that to her coaching box to make sure. And that ball was well out. They just showed it. So yeah, I think she's in her head about the Hawkeye Live system, which is interesting. Game point Rybakina. She misses her first serve out wide, which Ostapenko probably is thrilled about. Was that a double? Wow, Rybakina doubles on that game point. So we're back at deuce. It was a tight double. wasn't really a bad one. She just went for it and went a little long. Ostapenko, in her own way, is kind of reminding me of Garcia. She's looking to take big cuts at every single serve she sees, first or second. Definitely second serve, and she has one here too. Let's see what she can do with it. Backhand down the line, sets her up for an easy put away volley, and she misses it. Wow. She set herself up brilliantly for that point to put away the volley, and she just completely bricked it. She had a really good backhand down the line return, a good forehand approach shot. Rybakina didn't even hit a great passing shot. She hit the ball right back to her, and Ostapenko just flubbed it. Game point, Rybakina. If Rybakina wins this, gets out of this game, she's going to remember that point. And it looks like she will. Yep, hits a great serve out wide, follows it in with the easy smash, and she's up 5-1 in this first set. You guys, interesting note that I didn't know before I saw that their matchup was going to happen. Arina Sabalenka plays Donna Vekic for a spot in the semifinals tomorrow, and Vekic leads their head-to-head 5-1. That is so interesting to me. I don't think they've played a lot I don't think they've played at all in the 2020s decade. Maybe their last meeting was 2019, but the fact that Vekic has that kind of history over Sabalenka makes that matchup a little bit more interesting to me than I thought it would have been. So I'll keep an eye on that tomorrow. Ostapenko serving to stay in this first set, and Rybakina is just playing aggressive tennis. She goes big on the return, takes an approach shot, hits a volley out of the air, a swing volley out of the air, and then puts away the dink volley. She's up love 15. So yeah, she's just really dictating play at this point. If she wants to crack open a point really big with a return or a forehand, she's doing it. And Ostapenko is not really going for her first serve. She's spinning them all in, which is kind of setting her on the back foot from the very beginning of the point. She got lucky in this past one just now with Rybakina netting a pretty easy forehand. Hey guys, I'm looking at some of the comments. Rybakina straight sets, beating Collins and Iga is just too good to ignore. That's very, very fair. Grand Slam tennis news today. Hey, thank you. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate that. Let's see. Rybakina, they're saying Rybakina only has 3 aces. It feels like more than that. Maybe because her serve has set her up for such easy points. 30-15 for Ostapenko. Let's see what she does here. Misses the first serve. Excuse me. She'll get another chance for that. You guys are funny. That's the fastest serve Ostapenko's hit all night. At least it feels that way. That was on her second attempt of a first serve, and she hits a really, really good one down the tee. That's a good question, National Catch. What should Ostapenko change in y'all's opinion right now? I mean, Ostapenko doesn't look like she's firing on all cylinders for that matter, and Rybakina is. She gets hit a screaming winner forehand up the line that Ostapenko barely even moved for. Part of me wants to say that Ostapenko only has the option of fighting fire with fire. She's not a player that's going to be 4 or 5 feet, 6 feet behind the baseline scrambling. So if she's not getting the upper hand on these points, there's not much that she has shown that she can do. And she's focused on every ball going out or in, whether it's in or out or not, instead of playing. She just made this signal to her coach saying that the return Rybakina hit was so far out. I said it before, she's stubborn and she is a woman about her own convictions, and she's sticking with the fact that Hawkeye Live is not her friend. So she's sticking with it. We're at deuce right now on her serve. Let's see what happens. Agreed. Fire with fire. Yep. That's what I'm hoping for in this matchup. We're getting it, but just mainly from Rybakina. Was that in? Was that in? Come on, score a change. It was just out. It was just out. Rybakina went big for a backhand return and just missed it. Advantage game point for Ostapenko. Yeah. If she wants to do well in the second set, I think she needs to hold here so Rybakina doesn't think she can run away with it. She gets a first serve in. Rybakina has a really good angled return. They're in a backhand-to-backhand cross-court rally. Rybakina puts it short, and Ostapenko takes it away with the forehand and holds. It is 5-2 now. Rybakina serving after the changeover for the first set, and a good start to her semifinal, or a good start to her quarterfinal into a semifinal, I should say. If I was Ostapenko's coach, I'd say, "Girl, just start swinging too." Yeah, isn't it interesting? I mean, if you watched Ostapenko's previous match, she had that mentality against Coco. Like she was just swinging everything Coco gave her. But I think the type of ball that Coco produces off of her racket is very different from the type of ball that Rybakina gives her. Rybakina balls seem to go through the court quicker, and I think they're even going through the court quicker just in a couple of games we played with the roof being closed. So that's something I'm noticing as well. But golf just gave Ostapenko that the couple fraction more seconds that she needs to really set up, especially on the second serve. Ostapenko was crunching backhands every time golf hit a second serve. It was crazy. Yeah, I think she gets robbed for time when she plays Rybakina because Rybakina can match her power and do a little more too. So there's a lot of pace being had on the court right now, that's for sure. A lot of pace, a lot of pace. Yeah, I am rooting for a close match. If I had to choose or if I had to see how this match would go, I'm thinking maybe a 6-4 second set. 6-4 second set. I mean, the first set isn't over with. Sorry, it's 5-2 Rybakina. Okay, well, 15 love Rybakina, 5-2 up. She's serving so well. So if she gets an early break in the second, it just it doesn't bode well for Ostapenko. Wow, she's really opening up her shoulder. She just missed that first serve, but it was 175 kilometers per hour. Wow. Ostapenko also isn't hanging with her in the rallies. I mean, that's not her forte, but she's giving her some cheap errors almost every time there's a point started. She's just not staying in there, just not doing it. Yeah, Rybakina is hitting some forehand winners in this tournament. I was impressed with the cross court forehand winners against Swiatek, but she's hit a really good few in this match already down the line. And she just smashes a sitter that Ostapenko gave her, and she has 3 set points. Yeah, she's playing very well. Her serve is clicking, it's setting her up for plus ones like multiple times a game. Yeah, this is the kind of tennis she wants to be playing. Ostapenko is giving her a great rhythm. There's not too many long points. This is her bread and butter. She went big again. Was that 180? I wish it would go into the speedometer. She double faults right when I'm giving her some compliments. Darn. Wait, I didn't know commentator curse applies to me. I thought that only meant people in the booth. Wow. I agree, Ghosty. I don't think there's anything Ostapenko can do. Rybakina has better footwork, better serves, better energy. Yeah, Rybakina is going to have a dip in play if Ostapenko wants to sniff a set in this match, I believe. Still 2 set points for Rybakina. She's going to be putting in a second serve. Let's see what she does here. And Ostapenko gives her a free backhand flying out of the court. Like there was no way that backhand was going in. 6-2 set to Rybakina. Yeah, she's playing well, and Ostapenko's giving her some freebies. I mean, what else could you ask for? Ostapenko's level from the previous match against Coco is not there right now, and Rybakina is not giving her any opportunities to show it. So there we are. Yeah, I think Serena did get up to 200 kilometers. I think it was 10 years to the tournament. I believe there was a moment. I know way too much about Serena. Sorry. In 2013, I think she was playing a Japanese player, and I cannot think of her name. It wasn't Morigami, I don't believe. I really don't remember who it was, but I believe she was Japanese, and I think she hit it on the last point of the match, on match point. I'm not sure. I just know she did it in 2013 in the purple dress in the early rounds. That's what I remember. Oh, I'm just looking at you guys' tweets that are enjoying the chat. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you guys for joining. I really dig that. And thanks, John, for allowing me to, share on the platform. John is behind the scenes, guys. He's making sure I can see the score and making sure I can see you guys' comments. So if you guys aren't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe and also click that like button and then the bell as well so you can be keeping up with all the things that Talking Tennis has going on right now, which is a lot. I'm subscribed. I have notifications on, so I see almost every time when John has some good content. So thanks for reminding me, by the way. I have my own things. I host the podcast Tuned Into Tennis with Miles David. If you guys have never listened to it, give it a listen. You can listen to it wherever you download the podcast that you have now. Again, it's Tuned Into Tennis with me, Miles David. And I just uploaded an episode today about where we are in the midpoint of Australian Open and some of my thoughts about some of the new faces that are coming out. So me and a good colleague of mine have a good old discussion. That's mostly what my podcast and then soon accompanying YouTube channel to come is going to be about, just having conversations with other people who are mega fans and, of course, like the name says, tuned into tennis like me. So that is what I'm working on. Is what I'm doing, trying to get content out of there, get content out into the world with my own perspective on it. So let's see what Ostapenko can do as she starts the second set. I'm a subscriber. I rang that bell. Couldn't ask for more. Ghosty. Ostapenko's up 40-love in this opening service game. Is it me sometimes? And you guys definitely feel you should feel comfortable to chime in because I'm going to talk to you guys anyway. But sometimes I feel like I know there's this overarching feeling that tennis matches should be quicker, and I get that. I'm not like oblivious to the fact that they can be long, but I sometimes feel like there's not enough time between sets. Sometimes I feel like literally I take a blink and there's a new set started, and that first one, like, I don't know, maybe it's just something I'm overthinking, but I just wish there was like another minute or two in the change between sets. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it's enough time for anybody to really gather their thoughts, So thanks, Ghosty. I appreciate that. Hopefully you saw my podcast cover art, which it has me with my arms folded, looking like I am important-ish. What is Riga? I need to watch more Steph matches. Clearly I do. Two more game points for Ostapenko. And Ostapenko is not serving well. If she's going to even try to embark on a comeback in this match, she's going to have to up the MPHs on her serve and get more first serves in because Rybakina is just smacking them. Whatever happened between her and the umpire just now, she made a really, really good face. And I feel like there are at least 3 gifts I could make from this match alone with Ostapenko. So yeah, she gives it to you in the facials. She'll let you know if she's not happy. I need to watch more Steph matches for breaks between sets. He did take a really long break. See, yeah, maybe they wouldn't have to feel like they need to take abnormally long change breaks or bathroom breaks if there was something baked into it. I'm just talking like 5 minutes maximum because I don't even know if they have 5 minutes between sets. If they had a designated 5 minutes between each set, and if you went over that, you started getting points deducted from your game, then I feel like that's fair for everybody involved. And I don't know. I mean, I can see how, where the bathroom is in relation to the court may make a difference in the time, but just write that into the rule, like make sure that the time from court to the restroom is either amended per tournament, just associated with how far the toilet is, or how far the changing place is. Just make it make sense. Right now, there's too much gray area, I believe. Okay, Ostapenko seems to be connecting on the serve. She has love 30. We've been here before. Ostapenko just hasn't actually taken advantage of the opportunity she's kind of made for herself. Love 30, a small window here for her to kind of gain some momentum back in this match. Ostapenko with some momentum. Yeah, she's timing her backhand return really well. She's commanding this point right now. Is that in? Oh, wow. Rybakina hits a screaming down the line winner that, of course, Ostapenko does not believe is in. They're going to replay it. I'm sure Twitter is talking about how often. Oh, yeah. Centimeters in. Centimeters in. Wow. There could literally be a whole commercial off of Ostapenko's reactions just in this match alone. She connects on a backhand return again. Oh, and she just... Oh, was that in? Wow. It's amazing her ability to not question the ground strokes that are tight on the line for her, but for her opponent, she's always questioning it. A lot of Ostapenko's winners are barely in because that's the kind of player she is, but she trusts the Hawkeye for those winners. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? 2 break points for Ostapenko, though, even with the shenanigans. Let's see what Rybakina can do. I believe it's a second serve. Yep, second serve. Great kick up the tee. Hits a strong backhand that Ostapenko can't handle. One more break point to fend off. Yeah, Ostapenko is playing a little bit conservatively on these break points. I mean, that wasn't a easy second serve to handle, but she didn't hit it nearly as hard as she's been hitting some of the other second serves. One more break point for Ostapenko. Let's see what happens. Great serve. Oh, and Rybakina misses the second forehand. Wow. 2-love Ostapenko. Definitely a momentum change in this matchup. Ostapenko is fist pumping. She looks like she's into it. If she can consolidate this break, the match has a whole different feel for it, especially this set, obviously. I don't remember. Dang it. I always hold on to gems that people say, but I don't quite remember who said it. And somebody said that Ostapenko is a little Monica Seles-ish. Obviously, she doesn't have the 2 hands on both sides, but the way that she can hit very sharp and acute angles is Monica Seles-like. So I can see it. I can see it now. Now that somebody said it, I'm looking at it. Like the way she hits her backhand, especially, is very Monica Seles. If Monica Seles was a righty from Latvia. She's spinning serves in, and Rybakina is trying to take advantage of them, but Ostapenko's backhand is clicking all of a sudden, and her backhand cross court is lethal, and Rybakina isn't handling it very well. 15-all, Ostapenko serve. Yeah, she's just not in a good rhythm with her serve today. A lot of parts of her game are not on rhythm right now, but her serve especially from Ostapenko. Big, strong return from Rybakina that Ostapenko can't handle, and it goes long. 15-30 on Ostapenko's serve. Maybe a little Kerber. I don't really see, maybe from the perspective that they take the ball early on the rise and low, I could see how Ostapenko might have that in common with Kerber. Yeah. Ostapenko curls in a first serve. Rybakina does just enough to stay in the point. Oh, wow. Rybakina gave up pretty much a moon ball, and Ostapenko nets it. 2 break points for Rybakina to break right back. Yeah, she's going to miss. She's going to regret missing that. I mean, she didn't have to go for a complete winner. It was a resetting the rally kind of ball from Rybakina. And Ostapenko tried to go for the outright winner and just completely mistimed it in the bottom of the net. Yeah. If she gets broken here, she's going to remember that. And now she has to defend off a second serve. She misses her first into the net. Let's see what Ostapenko has in her artillery bag. Wait, that was in? Wow, Rybakina hits a backhand that catches the back part of the line, but misses the next one. Another break point for Ostapenko to defend. Ostapenko gets a first serve in. Forehand rally cross court. They're engaged in a really, really good one. And Ostapenko gives up a freebie. She gives up a freebie, looks to her coach, and asks her, was it out or in? Of course it was out. And we are back on serve. Rybakina will be serving at 1-2 after this brief changeover. I appreciate you guys for being active in the chat and talking to me. I appreciate it. It doesn't feel like I'm in an apartment all by myself. 83% of our viewers have Rybakina to win. The viewers at Talking Tennis are smart, if you ask me. They're smart. We know tennis because Rybakina is playing at a very elite level right now. So we know our tennis. Has anyone actually been to the Australian Open that's in the chat or in and listening to me commentate this match? I'd love to hear, only because I feel like I get a better story every time I hear somebody say they went to the Australian Open. It's just one of those tournaments, and you can kind of get that vibe from what they show in between match moments from the fans. It just looks like a leisurely person's dream. if you can handle the heat and dress appropriately. A leisurely person's dream, and somebody that likes good beer. I've heard the beer is good too. Oh wow, 2006 Stosur Hingis. That was the first Grand Slam match that Hingis played in her comeback tour. Wow, that was a good match to go to. I think that was the first match. I think it was. Everybody knows, Hingis took a break from the sport, retired in 2002, and came back at the beginning of 2006 and played a full season. And then I believe somewhere in 2007, she gave it up again and didn't play again in singles. All right, 15-all Rybakina serve. We're at 47 minutes into this match. I'm pretty safe we're going to get to an hour. I think we can maybe get to an hour in 15 or 20 if Rybakina keeps up her pace and Ostapenko doesn't mount any kind of, charge. Let's see. Rybakina has, I'm going to go out on a limb here. She gets hit 184. 184, wow. Average first serve speed, Rybakina 113. The other women's quarterfinalist 104. Yeah, she only has 4 aces in this match, but all of her serves have been so powerful and quick. For a motion that's so fluid, you just really have no idea where she's going with her first serve. Ostapenko has no clue. She's just frozen. Wow, great redirecting backhand from Rybakina. Just goes a little bit long on the next forehand she got. 30-all on Rybakina's serve. It looks like Ostapenko has found a touch of her timing from the ground. The ground stroke exchanges are getting a little bit longer. And they're both about evenly matched now from the ground. We're getting some sprays from Rybakina and a couple of sprays from Ostapenko. So let's see how that goes. 30-all, crucial point early on in this second set. Rybakina misses her first serve. Let's see what Ostapenko is going to do on the second. She's been trying to attack them all match, give or take a couple. She does. Rybakina's hit almost all of her second serves to backhands, and Ostapenko is crunching them. She crunches this one, sets herself up for an easy forehand, and puts it away. Break point Ostapenko. Interesting. Yeah, Rybakina needs to. I mean, for all the great serving she's doing, a lot of her second serves, especially on big points, have been going to Ostapenko's backhand, and that isn't a great tactic. She gets a forehand and gets it to Ostapenko's. She gets her serve to Ostapenko's forehand, sets up a point, and is able to dominate from the middle of the court and put her forehand cross court away. We're back at deuce. Yes, that's a better pattern for her. That's a much better pattern. If she goes to Ostapenko's forehand, she's winning most of the points. Backhand, not so much. See, I'm always an underdog rooter, so definitely pulling for Ostapenko right now in full. Hey, I'm not mad at it. Ostapenko, like we said before, can give us chaos like no other. So if she pulls something out of her bag and gets this second set out, anything could happen. And we're back at deuce. And Rybakina goes just wide with the forehand. She's starting to get a little frustrated, making some gestures at her box. And we have another break point, number 2 in this game for Jeļena Ostapenko. If I'm Rybakina, I'm staying away from Ostapenko's backhand right now. And she went to it again, but missed the first serve. So now she's going to try to spin a second serve in. Just don't go to Ostapenko's backhand. That won't make much sense. She does. Oh, and Ostapenko gives her a free one. Wow. Right into the bottom of the net. Back at deuce. Yeah, that was a really, really crucial point. Ostapenko couldn't even get the point started. There goes another giftable moment. Her face or her, you know what? I just made this comparison in my head, but her facial expressions remind me of Lindsay Lohan's character in The Parent Trap. They were very expressive with their faces. Well, she was very expressive with her face in that movie, and some of Jeļena Ostapenko's antics remind me of that. Oh wow, wow! That was an amazing angle that Ostapenko was able to find off of Rybakina's serve. Rybakina gets to it, but Ostapenko has her so far out of the court. All she has to do is block it back, and another break point for Ostapenko. That is a Monica Seles point. The point they just played right there is Monica Seles etched to me, in the way that she just was able to find that angle off of the backhand. Rybakina, as soon as I was praising her first serve, looked like she's going off of the rhythm a little bit here. She hasn't got many first serves in this game, and she's facing her third break point. Let's see what happens. Serving again to Ostapenko's backhand. Rybakina is approaching the net. Wow, that's the best touch volley I've ever seen Rybakina hit. Maybe it's the double she's been playing with Pavlyuchenkova coming into play, but I've never seen Rybakina hit a touch volley like that. Great point, especially under pressure. She loses that point. She's back on serve in the second set. Oh, wow. Yeah, that was a great touch volley. Put that one in the Rybakina Best Hits album. That was a good one. I can almost guarantee you if she wins this tournament, that's going to be in the Rybakina's best or top 10 plays of the Australian Open 2023. She gets a first serve in and then misses an easy forehand. Ostapenko just chopped her forehand return back into play, and I guess that threw Rybakina off, and now she's facing her fourth break point of this game. Interesting game here. The longer this goes, the more important it is. Absolutely. That was a great compliment. Thank you. I appreciate that. Was that in from Rybakina? Ostapenko, of course, can't believe it. She's laughing now. But that was a serve out wide ace from Rybakina, and we're back to deuce. The cameraman in this in this match must love Ostapenko. He's like, she's giving them so much content to work with, like so much content. I'm sure when I get on tennis Twitter in about an hour or so, I think that page Tennis Gifts is going to have his hands full, or their hands full, I should say. All right, Ostapenko gives Rybakina a free forehand error, and we finally have a game point for Rybakina in this 1-2 game. If Rybakina is able to hold here, I think she likes her chances. They're going to be officially back on serve after a almost 8-minute game. So let's see what Rybakina can do now that she has a point to hold serve. Was that out? Ostapenko, of course, doesn't believe it. And it was. So we're at 2-all. I wish somebody had a pen and paper next to me to write down how many times Ostapenko has made the same gesture, like this far out, that far out, that far out. She's basically voguing to try to see how far out the ball is because she doesn't believe a single thing. They're showing some warm up between Karen Hatchinoff and Sebastian Korda, which is up next on Rod Laver Arena. If anybody's really interested in seeing who takes that semifinal spot, I mean, it's a great opportunity for both guys. I think I'll take Sebastian Korda if I had to choose one, but we will see. All right, 2-all, second set, Ostapenko to serve. Let's see if there's any more twists and turns in this match. That 2-1 game was crucial, I believe. Ostapenko arms in a second serve. Rybakina takes full advantage. They're in a rally now, and Ostapenko tries to break it open with the inside-in forehand, does so, comes in, swinging volley. Rybakina can't get to it. 15-love Ostapenko. That was one of Ostapenko's best forehands of the match, that inside-in forehand to set up a swinging volley. It's actually one of the best points she's played in the last 10 or so minutes. Yeah, she's got to work on the first serve percentage. I almost wish there was I guess I can look on my app. I want to know what her first serve percentage is because it can't be great from Ostapenko. No way it's great. Rybakina hits a very aggressive backhand cross court off of a very weak serve. 15-all Rybakina. My app says that that Ostapenko has a 68% first serve percentage. I find that hard to believe. 27 of 40? It seems like so much lower. She's hitting, maybe because some of her first serves are rolling in like second serves. Maybe that's what it is. But she's hitting a second serve for sure right now, and she doubles. More slow-mo footage of Ostapenko making faces at her box because there's no way she could double fault. There's just no way. 15-30 for Ostapenko. She needs to hold here, especially after that game they just played. She definitely needs to hold here. She gets in the first serve. Rybakina has control over the point in the middle of the court. And Ostapenko tries to redirect up the line with the backhand, and it's too wild. 2 break points for Rybakina. Things don't look great and happy in the Ostapenko camp. 2 break points for Rybakina. And she'll have a second serve to play with. Let's see what she does here. Rybakina looks really good, guys, I have to say. She looks really, really good. Takes control again off of a weak second serve from Ostapenko, and Ostapenko flies another forehand. She's now up a break, 3-2 Rybakina, and she will be serving after the change of innings to consolidate that break. Interesting, yeah. Ostapenko, I am so interested to know how. Let me just close the app and open it again because 68% on the first serve just seems high to the eye. To my eye, it just seems really, really high. If it would have been like between 40 and 50, I would have been like, okay. Ostapenko was only 54% first serve points won. Maybe that has something to do with why I feel like it's so low. Yeah. And Rybakina has amazingly saved 7 of 8 break points. That's great, great clutch serving and great playing from the baseline when you absolutely need it. And Ostapenko, of course, is 2 for 6 on break points. So she's creating opportunities for herself, but not really converting when she needs to, hence the scoreline. So here we are. If you guys are basketball fans, ESPN is promoting NBA Wednesday, the Brooklyn Nets versus the Philadelphia 76ers Wednesday at 7/6 Eastern. If you're a Memphis Grizzly fan, then they have NBA Wednesday countdown between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors. That's Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am not a fan of any of those teams. I guess I'll practice my voice. So impressed by Rybakina, National Catch says, like others were saying, looking like a multi-slam champion to me. Multi-slam champion to me. Yeah. If she plays like she is now and thumps down another ace to open up this 3-2 game, I mean, it's going to take a really impressive performance and somebody that can either dilute her pace or hang with her pace and supply their own to stop her if she keeps this level up. It's really impressive, especially on serve. Especially on serve. Another really powerful first serve and gets her a free point. Just that quick, 30 love. A really strong serve in the women's game has been such an outlier in how successful you are, I believe, in the last couple of years. I mean, obviously Serena is the go-to example of that because she was head and shoulders above everyone else, in part due to her serve. Then there's Ash Barty, who you don't necessarily think of automatically as a good server, but when you actually see her play, her serve is so dominant, as again Rybakina's is here. She's at 40 love with, I believe, her 5th or 6th ace of this match out wide. But yeah, having a big serve on men's tour, women's tour, it doesn't really matter. Having a big serve is an advantage. I just think on the women's tour, with how much they are, such good returners, if you have a sneaky good serve, then you really have an advantage. You have an advantage over your opponent. Did she double fault just now? I think she did. Wow, second time that's happened. Commentator Jinx, maybe she can hear me. Best forehand Ostapenko is hitting a while up the line to bring this game to 40-30. One more game point for Rybakina. I mean, if Ostapenko could just kind of connect on some of these shots when she sets herself up in pretty neutral rallies, she might be better off in this match. But there's been way too many times where they're in a neutral rally or Rybakina puts in a serve and she just kind of hits it wide with reckless abandon. It's not going to get many points started. Now, I will say Ostapenko, that serve did look a little wide, but the Hawkeye Live system did not call it. Rybakina's up 4-2, a set in 4-2. Anyone know about Rybakina's choke history? Meaning, does she have a history of losing matches from winning positions? Not that I can think of on the top of my head. Not that I can think of. All right, great opening point for Ostapenko, another forehand winner. Well inside the court this time with the forehand winner. She shouldn't even be worried about what Hawkeye Live says on this one. Yeah, her serve is just not have enough sting on it. Rybakina is reading it early and being really aggressive with it. She hits a really good return. We're at 15 all. Yeah, if Ostapenko is broken here, it's a wrap. This is a must-hold game for Ostapenko. Must hold. Another missed first serve. She's going to try to spin in the second one. Let's see what Rybakina does here. Oh, guys, if you're listening or looking on the screen, there's my Twitter page with my Twitter handle and everything else you can use to find me on the social networks and interwebs. Oh, Ostapenko, that's not a great drop shot. Not a great drop shot at all. Small window again for Rybakina to break serve, 15-30. If you're an Ostapenko fan out there, you might want to rally up the troops. Rally up the troops. It's not looking too great. Wow, this camera angle is showing just how well Rybakina is timing her return. She misses the second shot because she kind of got fumbled in her legs, but she is driving returns. She's putting pace behind the ball that's not really there. So, yeah, she's hitting it well. She's timing it well, too. 30-all, 4-2, Ostapenko serving. 2-4, Ostapenko serving. Misses another first serve. Oh, Miles' Twitter spaces are also. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I try. We're a little less buttoned up than I am on here, but we have a good time and we talk tennis and we get tuned in. Ostapenko has a game point for 40-30. Let's see if she can get out of here. Like I said before, this is a must-win game for her. She puts a first serve in, barely gets the return. Oh, wow. She kind of made that point work. Rybakina was forced to come in and Ostapenko passed her. So 4-3 Rybakina. Ostapenko is yet alive in this match. Will Ostapenko ever win another major? You know, she makes you, for me, when I watch Ostapenko, she makes you doubt that entire thought process behind a player winning majors because she can go on such tears where it looks like, how did she even win a major? You know, like it can look like that a lot of times for Ostapenko. And other times you can remember why exactly she beat Simona Halep in that French Open final with so much time she had on her shots to just swing away and crush return. Those are the barebacks of her game. Bare bones of her game. She likes to take good, healthy cuts, and if she has time on pretty much anything, she's going to take a swipe at it. If you rush her, though, all of that kind of goes out the window. So there are players that can rush her. The game plan on what to do against Ostapenko is kind of out. You know, if you're a player that depends on your legs, you pretty much have to bet on Ostapenko giving you some errors and just remaining steady. And a lot of players do that, and they walk off the court with a victory. So, you know, I don't know. I'd lean towards no for Ostapenko. And I feel like, you know, if she doesn't ever win one, as more time goes by, and we kind of look at history, I think we'll look at the past couple of years of women's tennis, and she won't be the only one. I'll say that. She won't be the only one-time Grand Slam champion. It'll look like it was a trend in the post-Serena pregnancy or post-pregnancy era, I should say. Rybakina serving to go up 5-3. They're in a forehand cross-court rally, probably one of the safest ones they've had all match. Rybakina hits one that hits the back of the line, and Ostapenko can what? Not believe it. Comeback remains alive. Yeah, if she breaks here, she's definitely in gear for a second set comeback. 47% of first serve unreturns is a really, really good stat. Like almost half of your serves are not even coming back into play. That's a good feeling when you go up to the line. And I can only imagine the more you keep doing that, the better your serves are going to get. And that's where Rybakina is right now. He's in the zone. 30 love. Was that an ace? Oh, almost went for it. Ostapenko is trying to change some of the rhythm, throwing in a two-handed slice, but misses the forehand up the line wide. Another miss that she's going to regret. There's been quite a few of those that if she just were able to kind of rein it in and not go for the line, she could have kept the point alive. And Rybakina is not known for her rally tolerance. So, I mean, and neither is Ostapenko. So, who would ever really want to, and between both of them, who would really want to implement that strategy, So here we are. 40 love Rybakina, second serve. Please, Ostapenko, let's focus on the tennis at hand. I know, right? She misses another backhand return up the line, and now she'll be serving to stay in the match. 6-2, 5-3 Rybakina. She's been quite clearly the better player on court for both of these sets. It's just been a matter of her holding serve with much more ease than Ostapenko did. There was one critical game at 1-2 in the second set. I believe that was the almost 8-minute game. Outside of that, Rybakina has not been tested on her serve, and she's been in almost every Ostapenko service game, creating big points for herself. So when you combine all of those things, you get a pretty routine matchup. So, if she breaks here, 6-2, 6-3 looks like a dominant performance on paper. Let's see what she can do. It's new balls, by the way, so maybe that'll make a difference in Ostapenko's pace on her first serve. She's putting in a second serve here right now, though. And Rybakina sails long with the return, 15 love Ostapenko. I do love, by the way, about Ostapenko's kit. I feel like because even though she's not with Adidas, she always finds some Adidas shoes or accessories to kind of go well with the dress. So sometimes you even forget that it's not an Adidas outfit. Sometimes, not always. Pretty neutral point. Another neutral ball error from Ostapenko off the forehand. Yep, she takes the time to look at her racket and shake her head because she knows that's not helping her get back into this match. 15 all. That's just the kind of player her career has been. From one match to the other, you never know what her level is going to be. She could literally be making all of the shots that she usually goes for. She could be making them and looking brilliant, or those same shots could be falling out like they are today. Like some of those shots are not even close to inside the singles line. And then sometimes she reins it in, or the balls just fall that day enough times for her to get the victory, and that's just doesn't seem like it's going to happen today. I think she's a good fighter, though. She's trying to, at least make Rybakina serve for it. 40-15, 2-game points for Ostapenko. Looks like she's trying to focus on the tennis at hand. National catch. She's a very always like fidgety, always doing something kind of tennis player. Even when I don't think when she's trying to, she's always doing something. Okay, she puts in a good second serve. Rybakina shanks it, and now it's 5-4. Rybakina will be serving for the match. Australian Open, presented by ESPN. Who else is it presented by? That was it? Okay, cool. Usually do like Kia or some insurance company. Talking tennis. Yes. Thanks again, John, for allowing me to be on Talking Tennis. Again, if you guys are new to Talking Tennis, make sure that you guys subscribe. Give it a thumbs up if you like this broadcast and commentary of the Ostapenko versus Rybakina match. And just in general, stick around for more. We have a really good tennis community that is growing. We're really behind each other digital community. So, if you support that and love tennis or want to know more about tennis, definitely give Talking Tennis a follow. And then you can also follow me at Tuned Into Tennis. That's TUNEDINTOTENNIS on all platforms. And if you really love it, you can send a super chat. Super chat helps everybody. and it lets us know what you really, really like. I love these hoodies that some of the guys have been wearing. I saw Francis Tiafoe wear one, um, and I see Sebastian Corda wearing that same one as he's warming up for his match. Who is your second favorite retired tennis player? Rybakina's up to the line to serve for the match, by the way, guys. 5-4 second set. Second favorite retired tennis player. You know what? I don't know if this is necessarily my favorite, but I've been missing her lately. Lena. I feel like she had a couple more good years in her. I wish she'd come back on tour. Well, maybe the window has passed, but I loved watching her play. She was very, very smooth. That's just long from Rybakina trying to track down an Ostapenko led court that dribbled over the net. Love 15. Second favorite retired tennis player. I also miss Lindsay Davenport. Miss her a lot. Miss that style of play. It's alive and well in the WTA, but just something about the way Lindsay did it was special to me. I talked about Joe Wilfried Tsonga earlier. Who else has been retired but I miss on the ATP tour? Roger. Definitely miss old school Roger. Ostapenko gives a loose backhand error to even up this game. 15 all. Rybakina serving. Roger. I know. I really can't think of anybody on the fly else on the men's side that I really miss. Oh, James Blake. Really enjoyed James Blake. And I watched the first episode of Break Point on Netflix. I have thoughts about that on my YouTube channel in a couple of days, but I miss Andy Roddick, and he was a part of that as well. Yep, keeping in line with all the American men in the quarterfinals at the Australian Open this year. James Blake and Andy Roddick were some very good representatives for American men's tennis. Very good. 30-15 for Rybakina. She's mere points away from a slot in the semifinals of this year's Australian Open. Let's see what she can do. Great body serve. Sets her up for, oh, wow. Ostapenko flips the switch and hits a backhand cross court that Rybakina can't get to. 30 all. I mean, this is a very crucial point. If Ostapenko can win 2 of these points here, she's back in this match and it's 5 all. So, I mean, that's why it's really important to at least ask the question of your opponent. We'll see what Rybakina does here. When there's been tight moments, she comes down with the ace or a really, really unreturnable serve. So let's see what she does here. And right on cue, ace up the tee. Yeah, you can't defend that. You cannot defend that. Like, Ostapenko still has no clue where that serve is going, but you can tell something is going to happen because she's been clutch all match. The match is at 1 hour and 16 minutes, and we're at our first match point for Rybakina. Let's see if she can close it out in style. She tries to, just misses her target a little bit with the first serve. She's going to put in the second here. Ostapenko hits a really, really nicely angled backhand. Oh, wow. Okay. Nice save from Ostapenko. She got a little lucky with that net cord and gave Rybakina a little bit more time to get back into the point, but nice save from Ostapenko. She's so expressive. Yeah. Even if the camera doesn't love her and her outfits, they have to love her personality and her energy. She's just so expressive. The complete opposite of her opponent, actually. All right. Deuce. Oh, wow. That was a let. Oh, wow. Yeah, let. Big first serve down the tee again from Rybakina. Sets up match point number 2. Ostapenko has no read on the Rybakina serve. I don't see how anybody's supposed to put a read on that unless they watch a lot of film. I mean, her next semifinal opponents are going to be Pegula or Azarenka. Azarenka obviously is an amazing returner, and Pegula is no slouch in her own right. But Let's see what Rybakina has here on the second match point. Oh, wow. She's a really good first serve out wide, and Ostapenko times a killer of a backhand down the line to save the second match point. Wow. What a time for a backhand down the line. Rybakina was barely finished with her service motion by the time the backhand got past her. Amazing. She's still in there. Another good serve from Rybakina right into the hip of Ostapenko. She can't control it. It goes out wide. Third match point for Rybakina. Let's see what they come up with this time. Match point number 3, Rybakina. Great first serve up the tee, ace. Clear as day. 6-2, 6-4 into the semifinals. A really wonderful performance today, especially up at the service line. That was incredible. 6-2, 6-4 in under an hour and a half. I mean, she makes quick work of a tricky opponent that wasn't at her best today in Ostapenko. But yeah, that was some of the best serving I've seen since Garcia, I want to say. Garcia is another player that can kind of hit a stride with the serve and kind of make you in awe. And that was some really, really good serving from the woman from Kazakhstan. And she moves on to her first Australian Open semifinal. And that was fun. That was a nice match. It really was. Really decent quality. Nothing really jaw-dropping, but great, great serving from Rybakina. And I believe she totally deserved the win. She played clean tennis when it absolutely mattered. That's what you hope for in a Grand Slam quarterfinal. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, you guys, so much for watching and tuning in to Talking Tennis. I appreciate, again, John, for letting me commentate. And I believe that's it. I am going to see you guys on the next one. It's been super fun. Take care. And I will see you guys sometime soon. Take it easy, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. If you enjoy